new panel of Gojo opening his eyes. When compared with his state at death, it clearly looks like he's returning. Or, this could be an added detail for the volume, where it's Gojo's reaction to Sukuna's reality-cutting slash. But there is another clue that backs up Gojo's rebirth. Why is Sukuna not using the world-cutting slash to get rid of everyone attacking him right now? Well, this question has finally got an answer. Beforehand, it was looking like a plot hole, as even in chapter 255, we see Gojo confirming the power of 6 eyes, where he's able to determine a technique instantly by just looking at you. So why couldn't he tell Sukuna? Well, Gojo achieved more than we initially believed. Sukuna had to sacrifice the ease of using the world-cutting slash because he lost his hand due to tanking purple. He could not make hand sign requirements. Therefore, he made a binding vow to send 1 slash without any need of them. That way, Gojo wouldn't have been able to sense it or react in time. However, the trade-off is that now Sukuna must complete the chanting, hand signs, and point a direction just to use its power again, as the requirements have increased. I think this is pretty fair, and Gege did some solid writing. Think about it. The gap between Sukuna and Gojo became even wider as soon as he learned the model of the reality slash. The fight was over at that point. Sukuna could now destroy any and every opponent instantly without having to move a muscle, as his slash upgraded. But now he's made a permanent binding vow that doesn't allow for that. Sukuna was so much stronger that he didn't even have to do that. Remember, he had a one-time transformation back to his full form anyway, which would have given him 4 arms and 2 mouths required to instantly use world-cutting slash without any restrictions. If Sukuna did that, we would be in a much worse situation. Kashimo would have instantly died since there would be no more chanting, no more hand signs, or a sense of direction required. There wouldn't even be a fight at this point. Sukuna has actually nerfed himself on purpose just so he can face a challenge and have fun. Furthermore, the foreshadowing of Maharaga's ability was already there. Sukuna compares it to a late throw in a rock, paper, scissors. That is literally and exactly what he ended up doing against Gojo to win. But given the fact Sukuna needed a binding vow to defeat Gojo, what's stopping Gojo from doing the same thing to revive besides plot? There's a variety of ways to boost his reverse curse technique that was replenished, such as sacrificing 6 eyes. Sukuna did tell us if Shoko used RCT on Gojo, it would be 50% less than using it on yourself. But characters like Utahime's curse technique can't circumvent that, especially since Sukuna made a wrong assumption in chapter 234. He thinks the hollow purple 200% was boosted by a binding vow, as he didn't know Utahime and Gakuganji were there. But the narrative perfectly fits into Shoko's statement from chapter 220 that Gojo was an idiot thinking he was all alone. She was there to help, which would make it absolute cinema. I mean, landing a black flash brings Sukuna's RCT back, which means his arms will come back, right? So how's that any different to Gojo again? But let's go deeper. I'm talking balls deep.
Gojo returning with everyone.
Let's go!
What's more is that a major hint towards his revival is actually an homage to Hunter x Hunter by Gege. As we already know, he's a big fan of the manga and Togashi, referencing it multiple times, even in the Sukuna vs Gojo fight. But Gojo's death is actually a direct parallel to Hisoka's against Chrollo, with both of them losing 1 arm and ending up in an awful state. Hisoka managed to resurrect despite all odds. Later we learn that he had ordered his bungee gum to pump his heart and lungs after his death to revive himself, which we already know Gojo had recovered his cursed energy output as well as RCT before the fight against Sukuna ended. Adding that to the fact that his body was taken to Shoko to heal and that he would choose the opposite path as Nanami, it tells us that the agenda is still alive, people. You know what? Come here, give me some fresh copium, alright? Oh yeah. After all, even Hisoka said that fighting against someone as strong as Chrollo was like a wake-up call to him, which parallels the same feeling Gojo expressed after his death. Moreover, the example of sorcerers such as Hikari using binding vows to save themselves while sacrificing a major part of their body also applies in this case. But it doesn't end there. Gojo's "I'd win" moment is a direct reference to Hunter x Hunter, which Gege confirmed himself. In Hisoka vs Chrollo, the Phantom Troop leader says that he will 100% win, but Togashi claimed in an interview it was his intentions to make sure that he does, as any character that usually says they will win ends up losing. In parallel, Gojo gets asked the same question against Sukuna but loses to subvert expectations. However, with how the power scaling has been revealed, there is no other option but to bring this man back. Think about it. Kusakabe, who was declared the strongest grade 1 sorcerer, has bored the king where he doesn't even have to move a muscle to attempt to kill him with his curse technique. The manga hyped him to have this specialized version of Simple Domain that could expand and has an automatic system where he can take down any incoming attack. He's dealing with Sukuna's slashes by reading the cursed energy sparks, motion and pure intention. On top of this, Gojo even certified how broken Kusakabe's technique is by bringing up the fact that a lot of rookie sorcerers have to create binding vows to use Simple Domain. However, Kusakabe is in such a different league that he can do so without any. And what did it amount to? A couple of slashes that doesn't face Sukuna, which he instantly heals from, and dead. Gege is taking the piss and even gave this guy an honored one moment just to poke fun out of Gojo's death, off-screening the dude in a similar fashion. Shockingly, he doesn't even split in half, despite Sukuna being more than capable of doing so. With how things are going with the power scaling, the community thinks Gege is writing himself into a corner, and that only a Deus Ex Machina plot device would be able to make them win, much like what happened with Madara in Naruto.
But to enjoy more peak fiction, watch this video about a new tail beast that Naruto helped create.